when Victoria asked me to come and give some opening remarks, what does a special operations pilot have to do with reaching young people in Nigeria? And you just heard my resume, which I wish you hadn't read like more than 10 words of it. I've been all over the world. And when I heard the theme, Mind the Gap, I understood why she wanted me to come and talk for just a minute. I did not realize, having been to Nigeria back in 1997, that so many kids have fallen through the cracks. And if you've never been to London, and I can't even begin to see a show of hands how many people have been to London. If you've been in the subways in London, you hear the words mind the gap, all the mind the gap. That gap is not where you want to put your foot. It's not where you want to put your leg. As you step into the train that's going to take you to your next destination in the London Underground, it is about shoulder width wide. And if you go down in there, it's not going to be a good time. If a child goes down in that gap, you're going to have to get underneath the train to get them back up again. So it was a fantastic theme for the beginning of a charity that is designed to reach out into places that most of us have never even dreamed of or heard of. And greetings to those that are actually in Nigeria, and stand in the gap and make sure no one falls into that gap. Young people, not just in Nigeria, but all over the world, are being left a gap that they don't know how to get across. And that's our job. There's an old phrase we have in special operations: each one bring one, leave no one behind. And that theme applies to everything that I do with youth, everything that my team does with youth. And there are a lot of programs that a lot of people have never heard about, where each individual gets an opportunity to hand a rope or just a handout to help young people get across the gap. And what's the gap that we're talking about? Growing up is tough. How many of you remember what it was like to be 14 years old and trying to figure out what the world is going to look like in a brief 4 years when you graduate out of high school or secondary school? I remember what it was like. I was one of those young people that had a plan from age 8. Most kids don't have that anymore. I arrived at my senior year in high school knowing exactly what I wanted to do, how I was going to get there. And that's a powerful, particularly for a young man, a powerful position to be in, because it keeps you from doing stupid stuff. And all the men in the room should shake their heads. You know what you were like at age 18. We were stupid. But having a plan, knowing where you're going, really makes a difference. And how did I end up there? Someone was standing in the gap for me. They were already there. Bridges had been built across this gap. How do we do that in a place for us in America is very remote, a place called Nigeria? Enabling one person at a time to stand in the gap for the young people. And I won't quote the numbers because I don't have them in front of me, but there's so many young people in Nigeria that are probably down in the gap. So we have to be able to not just bridge it, but go down in the gap, pick them up, and help them across the bridge as well. So I encourage everyone, as you start to look at what you can do as part of this nonprofit for a daunting task. And the daunting task is the number of young people. I heard a number was 2 million. That seems like a mountain of young people that we would have to help out. And how do we move a mountain? Same thing I teach the young people: one rock at a time. I'm not calling young people rocks, but you get the metaphor. We help one at a time. Each of us find one, help one. You know, so. Victoria, I promised you 2 minutes, 37 seconds. That's 3 minutes, 10 seconds. I applaud everybody who is joining us today, and especially waving hello to Nigeria. It's been a long time since I've been there. I need to get back.
Thank you so much.